Good morning, everyone. Our next guest is an entrepreneur. She's a Bronxite, and she is an expert on so many things that our city needs and faces. Her name is Noelle Santos. She is the owner of the first ever independent bookstore in the Bronx. It is called The Lit Bar. We are so happy to be joined by her this morning. Good morning, Noelle. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
And I realize I just anointed you the expert on everything, so no pressure, no, no pressure. I wanna start. You were just featured in New York Magazine because you are the owner of the Lit Bar. You were affected greatly by the pandemic. Tell us how you were affected and how you're faring so far.
Yeah, so the Lit Bar was interrupted 10 months after we opened. We're the only bookstore in the Bronx, not the first, but the only. And we also feature a wine bar. And as soon as New York City's pause went into effect, we had to actually shut down a day before those orders went into place because it was just impossible for me to manage social distancing. Our community has really stepped up to support us with online sales and make sure that we stay alive during this time. And I'm just overwhelmed with love and support.
It is remarkable to watch. I secretly stalked you on social media during the ramp up of the Lit Bar's opening, and to know that just 10 months later you had to close it down. You were down, but you were not out because you were also named to the Small Business Sector Advisory Council. Tell us how you became a part of that and what you are doing as a member of that council.
Yeah. So I was tapped by the mayor's office to join that advisory council. And the reason I said yes was because, I wanted to make sure that the Bronx was represented and small businesses in the Bronx were represented and our voices were heard and that we were not invisible during the pandemic. When like that saying, when the nation gets a cold, you know, people of color get the flu. And the Bronx, we get something a lot more serious, and we rarely see resources trickle down here. So I wanted to make sure that the interests of small businesses in our community was heard at that table. So I jumped on that board, and it's been a few weeks, and I'm looking forward to see how it progresses.
And I'm sure a lot of the small businesses that you work with are also looking forward to see how the council can help them, because there is so much going on in the midst of this pandemic. We are now facing protests, and social justice is at the forefront now. And you are also teaching and guiding folks because it is a bookstore. And as I look through your website and I start ordering my own books, you really are helping folks educate themselves about social justice and about social reform. How did that factor into who you are as an entrepreneur, especially now when everything you do seems so timely?
Yeah, so my role at the Lit Bar was born out of a state of emergency in the Bronx. 1.5 million people, 10 colleges, and not one bookstore. So when I stepped up for this, when I was called to action to make sure we had that intellectual disability here, I I took that responsibility on to make sure that I help my neighbors and make sure we succeed as a community. Um, with social justice being at the forefront, anytime anything happens, the bookstores are the fabric of our communities, and it's where people convene, and where people come for answers and where we come to organize. So it was really difficult to do that when my doors are closed. So I had to get creative on how I was going to, bring people together and be a part of the solution. And we've done that by making sure that we continue to serve our customers with resources, anti-racist literature, and virtual events, and making sure that the business is sustainable so we have something to come to on the other side of all of this.
Noelle Santos, thank you so much. I love everything that you're doing. I can't wait to actually meet you in person. I'm sure the community beyond the Bronx thanks you as well. And for folks at home, if you want to help support the Lit Bar, you can do so online, as Noelle just said. You can, before they reopen their doors, you can check their website listed on the screen in front of you.